This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. Right now, we are ecstatic to welcome our next guest, our owner and operator at Zenith Rising Wellness, Alaina Dunner. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here. Beautiful girl, beautiful voice, just a connection. I could feel her energy around me and excited to get to know you and learn your backstory about, why you're here helping so many people. So first and foremost, congratulations on being here and all your success. And for those new timers, would you mind just explaining a little bit about Zenith Rising Wellness and what it is you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to. So I work in the realm of wellness or spirituality. I am a Reiki master teacher and work generally in energy and vibrational modalities. Reiki is one of those things, sound healing or sound baths. A lot of people might be familiar with those terms. Um, Yeah, so I do a combination of both of these things in my practice. Sometimes I'll work in other modalities such as yoga or Ayurveda. Um, and did you want a little background on like what Reiki is
Well,
or?
of course, we're going to get to that, but I want to get to know you first. So, just a little overview about you and the company and the work that you're doing, which I think we got it right. And you're here about this, you mentioned in your notes about the realm of wellness and spirituality, right? So, you're offering all these different types of sound healing, of Reiki. We're going to dive into what that is specifically. And I would love to hear more about how you're helping people. But let's first get a little of your background. Where are you from? And tell me kind of a little bit about, your family and upbringing.
Sure. So I grew up in the Bay Area of California, the North Bay, Santa Rosa, Petaluma area, and moved around all over the place. Spent a little bit of time in New Orleans and Utah and the coastal Carolinas, now in Asheville, North Carolina. I grew up with my dad, who was an electrical engineer, and my mom was a dispatcher for ambulances. And I had a pretty good childhood, not too much to complain about there. And I always very adventurous, and that led
Mm-hmm.
me to skydiving as a recreational sport when I was in my teenage years. I had an accident there in which I fractured my spine in a couple of places and was really looking for some help. I really was in a lot of pain and didn't want to try, high strength prescription meds. Got some family history of addiction and felt like I knew what was behind that door if I knocked on it. So it really motivated me to get out of I was 19 then, so I had a much smaller worldview and, less experience. And it really pushed me to a place where I had to get comfortable with trying something that I didn't really believe in or think would work. I had a much more logical, analytical mind then. And yeah, it was really necessary for me to be open to Reiki.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I also would like to ask a little bit about some of your struggles. Looks like we have, unfortunately, a lot in common. I lost my mother to cancer 8 years ago, and I know your father was very instrumental in your life and still is. Could you share a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. I'm sorry to hear about your mother
And
as
I'm
well.
sorry to hear about your dad, but it
Thank you.
does make us who we are, right? And it's just makes us a little stronger.
Yeah, it changes the way we have a relationship with them, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about finding that new way where we can still interact with them even though they're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad has been super instrumental. He was just such a supportive, grounded force in my life in anything I was pursuing. I'm also very into aviation, and he has whatever I'm interested in. He's always been like, let's go, let's do that, let's check it out. You got this. So that was really great of him. But during his treatment, I had the blessing of taking care of him and being there with him and supporting
Yeah.
him. And he too was much more logical minded and had a lot of resistance to receiving Reiki, which was fine. I don't need to push it on anyone. It was there as a tool, but he
Yeah.
wasn't really interested. And eventually, he got to a place where he was hurting a lot too and was able to let go of his, you know, thoughts and ideas about why this wouldn't work or why it shouldn't work. And we just had this really beautiful time to connect in the last couple weeks of his life where Reiki was really supporting him in reducing his pain from those like last couple of weeks of cancer can be really, really tough. And it was such a blessing because it allowed him to be more present with what he was going through instead of present with the pain. And
Mm-hmm.
the Reiki and the sound and just the support in general also really kind of helped him get to a place where he was able to accept that death was coming for him and it was going to be okay, and that all of his parents and his loved ones and his past pets were going to be, waiting there to greet him and show him the way.
Oh my goodness. Well, the first time I ever heard of the word Reiki, it was when my mom was sick with cancer. And, being she was in New York City, they wanted her to go to Sloan Kettering, which was too far for us because we live in Long Island. But long story short, I saw this modality listed on the website and I'm like, what? What is this? And lo and behold, it was like, wow, I had no idea this can help so many people. You hear stories of how it's helping the pain, but, other people you can't say cure, but it has helped with different types of symptoms. And I mean, it's amazing. So I'm familiar with it that way. My mom never got to use it herself either, Elena, but that's where I was like, wow. And then learning and hearing all the ways it can help you. And we're going to get to a lot of those specifics, obviously, in just a few moments when we talk. But really, so was this what you wanted to get into, or did this kind of prepare you for the work that you are doing now, in a sense?
The situation with my dad,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. What were you in at that point? What type of field?
I was working full time in a dual diagnosis all women's treatment facility. So we helped women who had both substance use disorder diagnoses and mental health diagnoses. Um, it was a great field. I also did Reiki and sound there when I wasn't doing administrative work. And yeah, I was doing some private sound and Reiki clients and all that on the side.
Oh my goodness. Well, here you are. And then how did you transition into this? And, tell me a little bit about that process. And then I want to break down, of course, what you're doing and the types of things it's helping with and how it works.
Yeah, I'd say the way it altered my dad's situation, altered my course trajectory, would probably be with the role of a death doula. That's a
Mm-hmm.
completely different role, a different thing, but I saw all of my independent skills kind of shine through in this way where it's just perfect for this role. So I am learning more about that and hoping to use all of my skills and tools and get a little more training in that regard, so I can help people transition out of this life when they're ready.
Beautiful. It really is. I was with my mom when she passed, but on my couch, I got to hold her hand and be with her the whole process. It is amazing. It is just, it's sad. It's beautiful. It's something like I've never experienced. And it's so beautiful to do that for the ones that you love and people in general who don't have someone breaks my heart, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a big role of a death doula too is educating and supporting loved ones of the individual who is on their way out, essentially, because it's a huge experience and it affects everyone differently. And you want to be there to advocate for the person, right? Like they don't have the strength or the energy to say, this is what I want. I don't like this. They're just not at that place anymore. And for me, that's a huge part to be able to advocate for those people and say, hey, look, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, this is what they said was important to them. And I'm going to be the person sticking up for them. I know you're going through it and I know it's hard and I will be here to support you. But today is about
Yeah.
them.
And now at the age of 19, you fractured your spine.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you do that, if you don't mind me asking? And then I want to talk about the transition into Reiki and how that's helped you and talk about your teaching, your training, your body work, your sound therapy, and all you do.
Yeah. I was in the process of getting what's called your United States Parachute Association license. Um, like a driving license, there are different classes to it, depending on how much training, jumping, hours you've put into it. So I was at the very beginning of my first license and just had a lot of situations that combined that I didn't know how to handle as a new jumper, and I had a tree landing, which was so fun.
Hmm.
And I then fell into a fire ant castle, which is just really the cherry on top. It all seems very dramatic, but now is quite funny to me. Um, yeah, so that was a little bit about my accident. I fractured my T8 and my T12
Oh,
vertebrae and spent about 8 to 9 months in a TLSO back brace afterwards.
oh my goodness. God bless. Now, this modality of Reiki is how did you discovered it? Who helped you through this?
Well, I was attending a college in Asheville or Swannanoa, North Carolina at the time called Warren Wilson. It's a work
Mhm.
college. It's a very hippie school, and I had the good fortune of having kind of a old school hippie medicine guy there who had spent most of like the 60s and 70s riding around the US on a bike and being
Ah.
a mentee of people who studied everything from Chinese traditional medicine to herb
Mm-hmm.
to indigenous medicines here in Northern America from various indigenous tribes. And he really just he was amazing. I got to see him 3 times a week before classes, and we did everything from cupping, and he made poultices out of arnica and comfrey and
Wow.
different, yeah, different herbs that he knew were going to help. And yeah, he did all the things, and he recommended I try Reiki. So I found somebody in town who did it and started doing sessions about every week for about 6 months and dropped down and was so curious and interested. At one point, the person who was my practitioner said, I think you should come to my training. And I said, okay, I'll be there.
Absolutely. And here you are. Amazing. Now, can we dive into the work that you're doing specifically? I know there's a lot to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. Anything? Let's see.
Well, I know in the notes in the beginning, we didn't get to dive into, really what it's all for in a sense. Some people don't understand Reiki yet. A little overview, I would say, right? And then how
Yes.
does it even work? And what are some of the things it's really helping with?
Yeah. It's so it originates in Japan,
Okay.
uh, and it's an energy modality, which seems like kind of a weird word to say, but if you've ever had any experience in the recovery realm or in healing spaces, there's parts work that's often talked about, right? We have our mental health part, we have our physical part and exercise, we have our emotional side, and we have our spirituality. They're all these kind of little buckets that we have to be pouring into in our own way to make sure that we're filled as a person. And all of these rooms or houses are very connected, even though we like to piece them out to try and
Mm-hmm.
make sure we're hitting all the right marks. Um, there's a theory called the red thread or the red string theory in a lot of Eastern philosophies that is the idea that if life were a tapestry and were strung together with red thread, that even if you were on this upper left corner of the tapestry and someone else was on the bottom right corner of the tapestry, and it's so wide and vast and large that you're still connected from the front view of the tapestry, from the back view of the tapestry, that all of us are interconnected in this subtle way. And it's the same goes for us as people. All of those parts of ourselves are very interconnected and it's we're one whole person. So Reiki kind of gets into that part of that subtle part of ourselves. For example, if someone were to come to me and say, I've been having really bad headaches and I'd really just love some relief with my headaches. Obviously, I'm going to help with them with that, but in their mind, the headaches might be a physiological thing only.
Yeah.
With the Reiki, it doesn't care what you think or what you believe, right? It's its own thing, and it's much more sentient and grounded and clear than we are, and it will just go right to the root of it. Maybe you're having a tough go at work or a relational challenge that's really weighing on you, and that's actually the thing that's giving you headaches. Reiki essentially, without much I mean, I direct Reiki to go where I think it will be the most helpful, but it really doesn't need that direction. It's going to get to the root of the problem and it's going to provide some soothing for you there, even just a little bit of space. It's not going to fix anything, it's not going to make your life perfect, but it's going to give you just that little bit of space that you need to breathe so you can kind of just relax and remember what the right thing for you to do is. You're not so distracted by, you know, do I have to pick up the kids from school? Am I going to be late to work? Do I have all the things I need from groceries? Like all of the minutia that we have to be balancing all the time. It just helps you like wipe all that out so you can remember what you know you need to do already. Because most of us do really actually, we've got it not figured out, but we have the right answers.
So true. My goodness. And how does it work? Some people might say, well, you're doing this via like telehealth in a sense, or via Zoom. Could you just share a little bit about that? Because people say, how can you let energy move from a phone, from us talking?
It's a great question. And if you think about the physical world, at least from a physics perspective, string theory, quantum theory, we're all vibrating all the time. Even though we perceive ourselves as solid, everything's vibrating all the time. Energy is also a vibration. Reiki is a vibration. Sound is a vibration. So when these vibrations hit us, also as vibrational beings, we attune to each other. So when we're hit with the right energy, the right frequency, the right vibration, it kind of brings us up to that place, wherever it is, or down. It works both ways. Um, but yeah, and it can be done in person. I think that is the strongest form of energy healing. It's very possible to do it virtually, and I think ultimately that all comes down to preference. Some people don't feel it as strongly on the receiving end, over the phone or through a video call, and they prefer to do it in person. And some people feel all the feels and all the things they want to feel virtually, and they find a practitioner they really like and connect with them that way instead of looking for somebody locally around them.
Oh my goodness. And I heard, if you can give me some examples of some of the things people are helping with Reiki, not only stress, all right, give me a little rundown of the type of things that people are coming to you for with this energy healing. And then I want to talk about the sound healing aspect that you do too. You do a
Yeah,
lot.
I do. I do. Um, well, I mean, a wide variety of things. When I was working in treatment, I had people that had a wide variety of symptoms that they were looking for help from. I actually think guilt and shame was the number one thing that I helped people through for the most part. Um, how to get the lessons that we need from guilt and shame without beating ourselves up every day over the things that are long past.
Yep.
It's a hard one for us all.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of physical pains. I've had, various nurses, hairdressers, people who are on their feet all day who've had knee, ankle, leg pains that just really had a lot of stress there. Racing thoughts is definitely a lot of them. A lot of people struggle with that. I mean, it can really be anything. Like I said, in any of those camps, whether it's a physical ailment, an emotional thing that you're doing, like a mind thing would be racing thoughts or something that you just can't let go of, rumination. Yeah, I think what makes the biggest difference is a client's openness to
Mm-hmm.
the Reiki working when they're on the table or in the session because you can put up blocks to not have that Reiki come and help
Sure.
and I think being in a more open space is the way to go, but
Yeah.
anything you're struggling with, I think could, I mean, the International Association of Reiki Practitioners website has a huge list of things that people have experienced help with from, but
Yes.
Reiki is such a vast thing that even if you were to see me 10 times, each one of your 10 sessions would be completely different
True.
because it's like how you're showing up in that day. Maybe one day you're super angry and you come in and you just need to go to sleep right away, and that's what happens. Or maybe it's a very interactive session and you're asking a lot of questions and feeling a lot of the energy move through you.
Wow. Amazing. Well, how does now sound healing get involved too? What exactly is that? How does that work? Do you mind sharing?
Absolutely. So sound healing is really, really fun. I was trained from a trauma-informed perspective since I worked with so many high traumatized individuals. Um, but it really gets you to play with the theory of music, because really that's what sound is when we make it into something more. which you can apply to your everyday life. So if you think about being really upset, what that feels like when you want to go be seen in that way, and you put on some really high energy music, whether it's metal or whatever it is that's got that feeling that you feel, that agitation. It's often what we do when we're mad. And taking those two, three songs and doing that and feeling seen is a fantastic way to emotionally regulate with sound. But then changing that music after those two, three songs into whatever you feel is going to bring you to a little bit more of a centered or a grounded place.
Okay.
Maybe it's piano music, maybe it's jazz, maybe, whatever it is for you. We all have different responses to music. And that is what I'm doing with sound, essentially. So if someone is coming in and they are also very angry or very worked up, I'm going to be playing a skin drum for them at the beginning. And I'm going to be doing like a really fast beat because I want them to feel seen. And I want the energy that they're feeling, not to just like put a blanket over it and, shh, it's going to be okay. That's not what I
Oh,
want to do. I want you to have that kind of primal internal scream and to let it out in whatever way it is. And then I do my own kind of thing of walking that back down, meeting that high vibrational kind of tense energy with whatever instruments that meet that. Sometimes it's even just playing instruments in a really unpleasant way, actually.
yep.
And then you start like calming it down slowly and relaxing it and giving the body that time to really move on. And I use a variety of instruments from drums to sound bowls to chimes. Sometimes I'll even play nature recordings that I have on my phone of different places that I've been as background to all of these things. It's really playful, which is
Mm.
great.
Oh my goodness, thank you. And now, how many years have you been doing this for? And just curious, where were you trained and certified? Some people are, some people aren't. Some people like to hear that though.
Yeah, I started my Reiki 1 and 2 training in 2017, and then I was certified as a Reiki level 3 and master teacher in 2018. I took my trauma-informed sound practitioner's course in early 2020. I did a yoga teachers and Ayurvedic yoga teacher trainer's course in 2019. It was that time I was doing a lot of healing around my spine and my injury, long-term healing. So I really just
Hmm.
kind of threw myself into everything in those years preceding the accident.
And what do you love most about the work that you're doing with your clients and this type of healing?
I love that it gets to put the healing off of me and back onto the individual. I'm not fixing you, I'm not healing you, I'm not doing whatever it is that you want to put verbally in there as the action. I'm just creating a container that's safe and
Okay.
relaxing and comfortable and that allows my clients to do all their own healing and all their own work as they should. And I mean, we get support from people and support is great. That's what I am. I'm the support. But at the end of the day, it's so amazing to watch my clients really feel and see that it's them. It's not just their therapist or just the medications or just their support group or their family, that those are all supportive tools that are so, so helpful for certain individuals. And also, at the end of the day, it's them that's
Yeah.
doing.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we still got my gosh, only we're out of time. How did this happen so fast? It always does this. Oh my goodness. We've
Yes.
been talking, oh my gosh, for this long. Okay, okay. How did you want to kind of end up for your show today, being it is the first show, people, and just getting to know you today? What would you like to leave off with?
Oh, goodness. Um, Go try it. Go try it. Try Reiki, try
Right?
sound, have an open mind. You might be thinking you're doing the best in the world right now. You've got the full
Mm-hmm.
career, the full family life, but rest is just as important, and rest will probably really elevate all the other things you're doing in work and family too.
Will too. Thank you so much. Pleasure getting to know you today. Amazing.
Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it.
And how can we reach out to you? Could you share the website, contact number, social media?
Yeah, my Instagram is Zenith Rising Wellness right now. I'm working on a website to get all that up and running, but it's not live yet. And email is Alaina at zenithrisingwellness.com. It's Zenith.
Beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Have a fantastic day. Looking forward to the next time we connect. Bye, sweetheart. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.